Death is a common visit to every living being, yet not everyone is lucky to have a decent death. Nor can anyone predict the hour and the cause of death until they meet death itself. However, some deaths hold out a mystery as the cause of their death remain unknown. The mysterious death of Elisa Lam, which occurred in Hotel Cecil in 2013, grabbed the attention of the whole world. Many arguments and theories were produced to describe her death, yet none of those theories were able to solve the mystery behind it. On 19th of February 2013, Santiago Lopez, a maintenance worker at Hotel Cecil, climbed the rooftop of the hotel to check the water tanks just to discover something that he never expected. The decomposing body of the Canadian student, who was announced to be missing 3 weeks before, was found floating naked next to her clothes in one of those tanks. How Elisa got into that 10 feet tall tank was itself a mystery. Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old Canadian student at the University of British Columbia, decided to make a solo trip to California with the promise to call her parents daily. On 26th of January 2013, Elisa Lam arrived at Los Angeles, and after 2 days of her arrival, she checked into Cecil Hotel, which was located near downtown Skid Row. Although Elisa was initially assigned a share room on the hotel's 5th floor, she was shifted into a room of her own as her roommates had complained about her certain odd behavior. Elisa could keep her promise to her parents only up to 31st of January. This was the day that she had to leave the hotel and travel to Santa Cruz, but disappeared without a trace. As her parents didn't receive any call from her on that day, they called the Los Angeles police and flew to Los Angeles to help with the search. Although the police searched the hotel twice, they were unable to find anything of Elisa except for the creepy surveillance video recorded by an elevator camera in which Elisa seemed to be acting weirdly. However, the police was unable to find anything about Elisa until 19th of February, 5 days after the video was released. Cecil Hotel started to get complaints from her guests about the low water pressure. They also said that the water had a strange color and odor with a funny taste. This is when one of the hotel workers went to check the tanks which were on the rooftop and found Elisa's body. Once the body was found, Elisa's parents had revealed that Elisa had been suffering from bipolar disorder, but she had never had an intention to suicide. Elisa's autopsy report indicated her cause of death as accidental drowning, with bipolar disorder as a significant factor. The clothes which were next to her had a sand-like particle in its folds and was found to be the same clothes she was wearing in the surveillance video. Her room key and watch was also found with her clothes. One of the last people to see Elisa was a manager of a nearby bookstore, Katie Offen. She recalled Elisa as a very lively and friendly person. Elisa had bought books from the store as gifts for her family. She had also discussed what books she was getting and whether those books would be heavy for her to carry around as she traveled. Did Elisa accidentally fall into one of those tanks? Or was she mysteriously murdered and perfectly covered up? It is a well-known fact that the LAPD wouldn't release a video connected to a crime scene unless it had a clue leading to the case. But the only clue we can get from this video is Elisa was not acting normal on the day she disappeared. Many commentators have said that the video was unsettling, as it had been slowed down and there were certain issues with the timestamp. Why would they need to edit a video before releasing it? The answer is obvious. There would have been something they wanted to omit in the video. The next question is, why would they release this video in particular if they had something to hide? Weren't there other CCTV footages to catch Elisa's movements? Or was she with somebody else the authorities wanted to cover up? So we could assume that this video was released by the authorities to mislead the public by showing Elisa was mentally ill and that could be linked to her disappearance. Even though the police attempted to justify the video release by saying that their intention was to show the public how Elisa looked on that day to find any clue, they failed to do so as the video was not clear enough to recognize the girl at the first place. And they would have got a close picture from the video without releasing the entire video, which would obviously create a commotion in the society. Although people have tried to bring up many theories about the surveillance footage, saying that Elisa was running away from a pursuer or she was talking to a paranormal being, her behavior was explained clearly by kinesics. According to the readings done on Elisa's body language, it was clear that Elisa was not at all afraid of anyone or anything. She was rather excited and playful. Her weird behavior of pressing all the buttons on the elevator and stretching her hands with her fingers stretched could be explained as her heightened feelings, as the autopsy report said that she had not taken her medications properly. Hiding herself inside the elevator could be explained as a part of her hide and seek, which she was playing with someone or something out there. She also goes out of the elevator and stands in the corner of it to fix her hair by looking at the mirror which was in front of her. Some have interpreted this as a symbol of attraction to a certain guy. Whether this guy was around her invisible to the camera or was it about someone Elisa was dreaming about is unknown. But the most important clues we can get from this video are that Elisa was not wearing her glasses and she had to bend close to the control panel of the elevator to press the buttons. She was also not on the floor she was boarded, and she was wearing a men's short, so it is unknown if she was having a relationship with somebody and came to that floor to meet him. According to Jack Anderson's book Gone at Midnight, Hotel Cecil had a reputation for rapists. It further says that some hotel employees used to rape the young girls there and kept their mouths shut. Was Elisa too raped? Or was she deceived by anyone? In her autopsy report, it was mentioned that there was a bleeding in her anal area. That could be a sign of rape or consensual sex, although they covered up the case saying it could occur due to the body decomposure. There was no toxicology test done as there was no blood in her system. Moreover, her rape kit and nail kit were never examined, as the police dismissed the idea of foul play just because many people had seen her alone and her report said there was no sign of trauma in her body. Elisa was a new guest in the hotel. She had been there only for 2 days before she went missing. How long she actually stayed in the hotel is an unknown fact. So how exactly did she know how to get to the rooftop? The hotel has 4 cisterns on its roof. Each cistern is about 10 feet high and 4.5 feet wide. Each one holds at least 1,000 gallons of water pumped up from city pipes. The hotel's chief engineer Pedro Tovar also made it clear that it would be difficult for anyone to access the rooftop where the hotel water tanks were located without triggering the alarms. Only hotel employees would be able to deactivate the alarm properly. If it was triggered, the sound of the alarm would reach the front desk as well as the entire top 2 floors of the hotel. If that was the case, there should be someone who showed her the way to the rooftop, and it's likely that someone switched off the alarm. It is clear that Elisa wouldn't have done it on her own, as she was unable to see the switch properly without her glasses, and she wouldn't know where the alarm was. The next strange point is, although her autopsy report said that she died due to accidental drowning, there were no water to be found in her lungs. So we can assume that she was dead before she got in there. This could also trigger some questions. If she accidentally fell in there, why would she remove her clothes? Or if she was planning to get in the water, why would she take her clothes with her? The police said that there was no sign of Elisa when they checked on the rooftop. Then where was she? The police couldn't check all the rooms on the first day as they were unable to get a search warrant. Although the LAPD claimed that they have checked the hotel twice and searched every nook and cranny, they missed the tanks. What were they looking for on a rooftop if not for those giant tanks? In a clip shared exclusively with DailyMail.com, a retired LAPD homicide detective, Greg Kading, confirmed that the dogs caught the scent up to the fire escape, but they lost the scent when they got into the rooftop. According to Lopez's testimony, the tank's hatch was open. So how could the dogs miss the scent of the body? Why couldn't the LAPD find any forensic evidence on Elisa's journey to the tanks? So it is doubtful if she really went to the rooftop or there was any foul play involved. All these facts lead us to one answer. She could have been dead before she got in there. Somebody or something has murdered her and hidden her body until the search was done. After the search was done, the body had been moved to the tanks along with her clothing. It was said that her clothing were covered with a sand-like particle. Whether or not it was a chemical that they used to hide the stench of the body is not clear. But it is possible that the clothes were thrown away with the idea that the particle would be automatically removed when it was drenched in water. That's exactly why the particles remained only in the folds of her clothes. Up to this date, there is no sign of Elisa's phone. Was it stolen or was it destroyed due to some evidence that would lead to her murder is still a question. Another strange fact about this is they discovered the body only after they got complaints from the guest about the low water pressure. If the body was floating 12 inches from the top of the tank, how could there be a problem with the water pressure? Was it a plan by whomever is responsible for her death to expose the corpse? Yet there is more to it. During the time of Elisa's case, the owners of Hotel Cecil were opening their paths for economic and political growth. Herb Chase, the owners of Cecil, was in negotiations with CBRE in early 2013. On 20th of February, they became the part of the CBRE network. This placed Hotel Cecil as a new asset for the CBRE. So, isn't it obvious that the hotel group would do anything possible to maintain their reputation? Would they possibly allow a case like this to tarnish their reputation and close their path for success? So we could assume that they just got rid of the case by joining hands with the LAPD to cover it up. Elisa Lam is not the only person who lost her life in Hotel Cecil. The hotel itself has its own dark history in which there was a line of deaths. So whether or not Elisa was killed by a human or a ghost is an unknown fact. But the gloominess that spreads around this death could have something to do with the Illuminati. Few years ago, there was a company called the Invisible Light which was registered under the same address of Cecil Hotel. Did this company have anything to do with the Illuminati is an unknown fact. But had it been the case, there cannot be any doubt with regard to the mysteries that took place in the hotel. The hotel itself has a design on each floor which is similar to the symbol of Illuminati. We still don't know if Elisa too became a victim of this dark secret. Had people been more vigilant and compassionate, a friendly and lively young girl like Elisa would not have faced such a tragedy, nor her death would have been a mystery.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe us for more videos. And don't forget to click on the bell icon to get updated on our new videos.